So welcome to Seesaw. The app can be found at web.seesaw.me. And from here, it's an easy way to sign up for free. I'll go ahead and show you that part. I'm a teacher. I'm going to go ahead and sign up with Google, choose the account. And now I'm here at my homepage. So because I've already signed up for an account, what you're seeing is what I've already set for myself. I've already identified a class, technology as a tool, and I've added all of you as students within that class because I think it'd be a great idea for you guys to actually see this as a student would. So I'm hoping that you'll participate in this little activity. But in the meantime, I kind of just want to give you a brief overview itself of Seesaw. So to the right side right here, this is where you're going to organize how you want to use the app for your class. So the wrench up here, pretty intuitive. Right here is all your class settings. If you were to hit plus students, you could add students, but it also allows you to give students a code right here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it now because this is the code that I'm going to use or give to you all. Then you pick your name and then you can actually participate in the activities. So this is where you can add family members where they would sign in and they could then participate by interacting with their students and interacting with you, the teacher. So if you scroll down here, you're going to see all sorts of settings that you can select from the way you want students to sign into the app, how you want to manage your students, likes and comments. So this is really worthwhile. I think if you have the time to poke around in here, you're going to see that there's some really good tools like managing folders so that you can organize your activities by subject area content, so it makes it much more manageable to keep track of those formative assessments that a lot of these activities provide. And then skill sets. So here I think it's pretty nice that you're able to assess students' skills. Like for example, you can pick an activity and you can say, I've chosen this activity because it will present an opportunity for students to develop a particular skill set, and then you can manage it that way. So you can see some progression that they're making. So then over here, this is the bar that you're really going to be utilizing the most, and activities will define how many journal entries they get. So basically for every activity that students do, it goes into their own personal journal. Inboxes, of course, is how you communicate with parents, and you can send messages to students as well through there. And then this, of course, is where you might want to identify those skills that you are particularly interested in. So for this, I just want to show you some activities so you can see that Seesaw offers an extensive library of activities to choose from. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. You can, of course, create your own activity if you'd like, but activities range from pre-K all the way to other. And subjects are identified here, and beyond your typical subjects, ELA, math, science, you have additional ones like social emotional learning. So to add an activity basically to your library, you have to like it. And this button is very familiar because it's a social media type button. And you can see down here that over 3,000 teachers have liked this activity. So I'm going to go ahead and like it so you can see how it gets added to my library. You get the message down below, and then there's a button that says to assign it to the class. And at this point, I'm just browsing and looking for activities that I might want to use. So I'm not going to assign it to the class, but I do want to show you then what it looks like in my library. So once you come to your library, you can see all of the activities that you've liked that potentially you might want to assign, and then you can create your own activity right here, which is what the teacher I observed with the math, the third grade teacher I observed with the math activity did. So let's just pretend I'm going to assign this activity because, let's see here, it's October. I'm going to assign this activity to my class. And so before I do that, I'm going to take a look at the directions here, which is what the students see. And then I'm going to identify right here, it identifies your subject area and grade level. which is really, really great. And for this grade level right here, when you're talking about special education, first K, pre-K, this offers audio instructions, which I think is really cool because it's somewhat challenging, I think, for a lot of the students to be able to read and follow through these directions. So I'm good with this, and I'm going to go ahead and hit assign. Once I do that, it brings up the class that I have, technology as a tool. And down here, I actually might have another class. You could have several classes. So it says assign to one class. So because I only have the one class, I can assign it to the entire class. Or if I hit edit, then I can decide I only want to have Andrea, Anthony, and Bethany. Let's say I want them to do this pumpkin assignment. So, but what I'm going to do is hit everybody. You can then identify folders, how you want to manage, organize that activity, and then again, your skills. This is a premium feature, so you can try it free for 60 days, but there's no need, actually. You can still track their skills from the main page. All right, so students here, I'm going to hit the check button, say yes, and assign. Now it gives you the instructions for course step 1, step 2, students sign in, and then they respond. Let's go back to my home page. So from here, if I were to log in, this is now what I would see because I have an activity that I've assigned to the class. No one has yet responded. There's 16 in the class, but I can try it out as that sample student that you may have seen on that last page. So as a sample student, I can try it out, and you can see that these are the tools available to students to color and to draw and use. There's a text file that you can use. I don't really want this. And it's, yes, thank you. You can record yourself, you can take a picture, and then you can use additional tools. So shapes, I'm going to go ahead and select a pair of eyes for my pumpkin, and I'm going to give a mouth. And let's see if I can get around to getting my pumpkin a mouth. So you can see that this might be challenging for some students and teachers. All right, so let's say I love this. Yay, decorated my pumpkin. I'm going to submit it. So then the student has submitted their pumpkin. And if I want to take a look, because I'll get a notification, if I want to take a look at who all has done it, then I can select this button, and it'll give me the instructions, and it'll show me everyone here who may have participated, submitted their pumpkins. That's kind of a neat quality feature. So then I go over here, and you can see now I have one class journal item because the sample student has submitted this, and this will go to that student's own journal. Now, I want to show you what it would look like for you all. So to do that, I need to go to students, so I need to grab the code, which I may have done already, but you can see that the code changes every hour, just for security purposes. So then what I'm going to do, I copied that, and I'm going to go ahead and log out so I can show you from a student mode what that's going to look like. So I'm going to sign out. So you all will come here to app.seesaw.me, and then you're going to select student, and then I'm going to hit the code, copy that code, hit go. Now you're going to see you can select your name. So I'm going to select Andrea. Yes. So now Andrea, when she signs in, she's going to see, oh, I have one activity to do, and that's what this little number 1 is. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and decorate Andrea's pumpkin, and Andrea likes hearts, and I'm going to give the pumpkin another heart as a nose. Maybe we'll turn this one around. There we go. Okay, so Andrea likes her pumpkin. This feature right here is if the kids have a touch screen, they can then color on it themselves. So she's going to go ahead and hit the check button and submit it. And it says waiting for teacher approval. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out as the student. So you can see as the teacher, you will get an alert that basically says you have, right there, I have one item that's been submitted, and I one unapproved post. So at this point, I need to review that. And this is Andrea's in response to Decorate a Pumpkin. Andrea did a great job, so I'm going to go ahead and hit approve. And there you go. So for each student that submits something, you will get an alert. And likewise, anytime that you assign an activity, the students will get an alert on their page. So this is just a great opportunity to really showcase students' work and have them have a spot to be able to look back at their work and see how they've grown. And what I like about that is it really is representative of Piaget's metacognition, where, hey, let's get students to think about their learning. And if you do an activity at the beginning of the year and then you go back midway and you have them either look at that, replay it, because they can video themselves, they can photograph themselves, and they can record themselves. They can hear themselves, and then they can either choose to do that activity again. So they can see their own growth, which I think is an awesome thing, because I think sometimes a grade on a paper is not enough to show them how much that they've grown. And this is also a really good communication tool between teacher and student, and teacher and parents and kids, students. So I really like this. Now I want to move on here to the privacy, because I think as digital citizens ourselves, we need to make sure that we practice those same guidelines. And what I like about Seesaw is that they never sell data, student data, they never advertise, we don't own the content you add to Seesaw. So I like this. It's very transparent, and I think it's really important because it adds a level of security to this, because there's been a lot of emphasis placed on here. So I think that's important. I also went one more step and looked at Common Sense Education to see what they had to say about Seesaw and the rating that they gave. And we can go there and you can take a look at how they've reviewed it, and then teacher reviews on this. So I think it's really important that you do a little bit of vetting on your own when a app comes out. This is also a grade that Common Sense gave the app itself. So anyway, I like it. I hope you give it a chance, and more so, I hope you actually respond to the little activity so I can see all your pumpkins. Okay, cheers.